everybody, and welcome back once again to Disco Elysium. My name is Wanda Wicks, she, her, and no preamble, we're just gonna get started. Now, you may recall from our last playthrough that we are helping Morel and Lena, and to a lesser extent Gary, with their cryptid traps. And we discovered that one of the cryptid traps had the locusts stolen out of it by Kuno. And that gave us the opportunity to unlock some of Kuno's, and more importantly, Kuno S's tragic backstory. But we're not exploring that just yet. We've got some locusts. Where is it? We have to restock the trap. Remember which one it was. I know which one it was. It was the original. Let's see. We have the locusts as items. Or are they not even in... Yeah, they're just, in theory, we have them. Alright. Should be able to fast travel. Come on, keep running, don't slow down. Still a few hours yet until we can get our die from Niha, which is what's going to let us re-roll that check with the ice cream maker.
The trap stands empty near the reeds. No insect sounds or movement around. Only the reeds' apprehensive hissing.
Release the locusts into the empty trap.
The locusts, dazed from being transported, slowly begin to acclimate to their new surroundings. They're not really going to get the chance to get comfortable here.
Good, now that's done. When do you think we will return to our impending apocalypse of a murder investigation? Don't answer that. It was a rhetorical question.
Alright. So that bit's done. Oh, almost missed this. 45 cents. Clearly very important. Well, we are gonna do one other quest, because, yeah, I'm honestly leaving the actual plot till later, which would be horrifically irresponsible were it not for the fact that I'm the protagonist and literally nothing happens until I unlock it. So. We've unlocked some stuff with Kuno. Let's go see what's up.
Fuck does Kuno care?
What was that about running you an errand and illegal narcotics, Kuno?
Kuno gets it from his dad. Kuno and his dad are major suppliers. That's where Kuno gets his lightning on.
His eyes bulge, their veins reach out like tree branches.
Problem is, Kuno and his dad had a little falling out. Now junkies clawing at Kuno's door. Streets going mad. Kuno's got to throw his dirty popo man at it.
Okay.
Dirty popo man is you. In there is Kuno's violent dad on steroids. Kuno's dad does steroids and speed. If you can take him, you can have half of the speed.
What a bargain. And yes, as a matter of fact, there are plot lines that you can get blocked off from, and that does include the main quest. Although, for the main quest, they do give you multiple options and ways to unlock it. Who is your dad, Kuno?
Kuno's dad is a fucking monster. He's the most violent man in Revachol. He doesn't give a shit about a single thing. He drinks too.
He says proudly. Kuno gets beat up by someone who he believes is the most violent man in Revachol. A man who evidently can't tell the difference between his own son and an also red-headed girl. I think this is Kuno's way of feeling better about himself. I mean, after all, you're not an abused child. You're just the second most violent man in Revachol.
Are you sure you can take on the most violent man in Revachol? In your condition? You know how you'd be best off here? With a gun. I'd be the star of the show if you only had a working gun.
Well, not until 10 p.m. That's when we're meeting the pigs. I'm just sort of recapping all the various plot lines we have going on here in case anyone's forgotten.
Don't expect to talk this one down. There are some situations your mouth can't get you out of.
I like that is a success. Rhetoric knows its own limits.
You won't sweet-talk your way around this man. Good thing this psycho-drug boss is strictly optional.
Helpful game tip. How much material are we talking about?
Like half?
Half of what?
A baggie, but like in this vial.
That's half a gram, sir.
Half a gram?
Yeah, half a G. Want it or not?
G is not normally short for gram, but okay. I'm not going to insult the size of his material. I've made up my mind, Kuno, and this is what's going to happen.
Okay, Kuno's listening.
So our options are, I'm going in there, all guns blazing to get that speed, because I need it. I'm going in there, but not for the speed. I'm going after the most violent man in Revachol. I'm going in there for justice. I'm a narc, Kuno. I'm going to confiscate that crap. I'm going in there for justice. I'm a narc, Kuno. I'm going to confiscate that crap. Lie, you need speed. Or, I'm not going in there. This, I think, is interesting, because on the surface of it, it's just two options, yes or no. But it gives us options for why we're saying yes. And, this is crucial, Kim is with us. Kim might have options, or opinions, rather, about going in all guns blazing because we need speed, or going after the most violent man in Revachol. I suspect he would like this option, but Kuno won't. Going after the most violent man in Revachol.
Sure, whatever. If you survive, make sure to bring that shit back to Kuno. Kuno's almost out. You wouldn't like the Kuno when he's out.
Most people don't like Kuno regardless.
Just get in the apartment building. Kuno knows you already fucked your way in. Kuno knows everything.
He aggressively points at his eyes. In other words, he's seen us in the apartment, which is not hard given that we walked around on the balcony directly within his line of sight.
Go to room 12, first floor, and kick down the door. Police violence style. Kuno style. And then it's action time. You're locked in the room with violent fuckheads.
I would question why we would be locked in the room after we've kicked down the door, but okay.
That's it. Next time Kuno sees you, you better have his shit.
Can do, Kuno.
What the hell are you signing us up for here?
So our options are, I'm gonna kill Kuno's dad. I'm a bad addict cop, and I'm gonna get my fix. Or, come on, Kim. Obviously I'm not gonna take it. We need to get drugs away from a minor. This is what we're gonna say. Whether or not we mean it.
Okay then.
Kuno doesn't fucking care.
And now we've got our thought about the homosexual underground.
Homosexual underground. Maybe you should stop obsessing about your own and other people's sexuality. Feels like it's about time to do that. You thought about this for 8 hours? Not only should you stop, you should tell Kim you've stopped obsessing about other people's sexuality too. I'm sure he'd appreciate it. Unless you already got him killed because you were obsessing about your sexuality. There's no way of telling from within your brain. But for your own sake, please say you didn't.
This text is like this because it's letting you know now that you've got this thought, you should talk to Kim. But there is a possibility that Kim will not be available. Don't worry about it. No stat bonus at all. I did this purely for plot. We have one more slot available. In theory, I could spend a skill point to forget anything if we wanted to get any more thoughts, but I'm not going to. I've already planned out which thoughts we're going to get, and I know which one is going to go here. We just haven't gotten there yet.
Yes?
So, I have big news, Kim. Tell Kim about how you no longer obsess over your sexuality. I love that we're going to have this conversation in front of these two. I have big news, Kim.
Okay.
I have managed to stop obsessing about my sexuality.
Great. Imagine all the time you'll have for work now. Matter of fact, we should get back to it right now.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Just one thing, though.
What?
Are you part of the homosexual underground?
You didn't stop at all, did you? You are just obsessing about other people's sexuality now.
Yeah, but...
But am I? I'll spare you another 20-hour mind project. Yes, I am. Now let's get back to work.
That's the truth.
There you go. For anyone who was shipping anyone with anyone else, Kim, canon member of the Let's Get Beers Together Quickly community. And that's all we get to figure out about that. Although it does raise some interesting questions. Are we Kim's type? Alcoholic disaster notwithstanding. Has Kim been attracted to his partner in the past? We haven't had the conversation yet about what happened to Kim's partner. Does being gay isolate him even more so than already having to wear glasses or being visibly half Sealite? Kim is a character with a lot of depth. Okay, now, as I mentioned before, this is where Kuno S would have come in. And she hid in this closet where we found the flip-up shades. And this is where Kuno lives.
A shabby door hangs oddly on its hinges, secured to the doorframe with a safety chain. An unpaid energy bill is attached, threatening to cut off the electricity. It's addressed to Mr. Uno Doroita.
Looks like we found where Kuno's dad lives.
And the place comes with 3 months' worth of utility bills.
Knock lightly.
No response. The apartment numbers have fallen off the door, leaving the panel with a sticky 1 shaped shadow and a marker drawn 2. You'll need to equip the chain cutters to enter. Snip right through the metal.
You got it, interfacing. Let's take the drugs out of our hand. Put the trash in there instead.
A shabby door hangs oddly on its hinge. Snip. The cutter goes through them like dead leaves. The links fall to the ground on the other side of the door.
I know there's no stopping you, but let's at least make this quick.
About 10. Kuno, note the spelling, Kuuno, de Reuter, is the name on the unfinished homework. It's from 2 years ago. He has unfinished homework out on his desk that's 2 years old. Also, interesting that he changed the spelling of his name.
A phone book lies open on the table, covering a stack of utility bills. Right next to it, in plain sight, sits a small bottle of amphetamine, conveniently equipped with a straw.
I mean, in theory, we have permission to be in here and permission to take this. Kuno's assuming that we're going to give it to him, or at least split it and give him half. We didn't have his permission to take the pocket change, but I don't think he'd care. Lieutenant, I've located psychoactive substances on this table.
Good. Confiscate it.
The minuscule amount of amphetamine doesn't interest the lieutenant in the slightest. He listens instead to something in the other room.
Kim Kitsuragi is a homicide detective, here on a very important homicide case. You will recall he initially didn't want to get involved in investigating the drug ring that Joyce wanted us to do, and when we first found traces of amphetamines in Kuno's shack, he didn't care about that either. He isn't interested in dealing with the drug problem, especially not small-time stuff, which makes sense in Martinaise, where our authority is suspect at best. It's not really the place where we want to go swinging our dicks around, inconveniencing local people who are just trying to get their buzz on. Take it.
You pocket the bottle as if it were the most natural thing in the world.
Boosts armatorics, but reduces our morale. It's got 3 uses in it. How convenient. Someone has equipped this tiny bottle of amphetamines with a straw. It's the lorryman's speed on the go. Not normally how one consumes amphetamines, but, fantasy world. Glossy erotica covers the wall, wrinkled from moisture. Kuno presumably sleeps here. This is not a good environment for a child. Obviously. Let us confront the most
Bundle of
violent man.
clothes heaped on the bed. A stained parka, some towels and a duvet, some socks even. In the dark, it looks like a nest.
Hold up, Lieutenant. Look at that pile of clothes.
Mm-hmm.
The lieutenant has covered his nose. Slowly, reach out your hand.
Something underneath there is breathing. It's not too late. No one's going to blame you for backing out. You don't have to do this. Just get out.
Keep extending your hand toward the pile.
Your hand touches a greasy duvet covered in cigarette burns and ketchup stains. You hear a growl. There is something alive underneath it. It's deep, in suffering somehow.
Pull the blanket off.
You see a 60-year-old, fat, red-headed man passed out from large amounts of alcohol and God knows what else. The smell of shit rises from his mouth.
It should be noted, if Kuno's dad is 60, and Kuno is somewhere between 10 and 12, Kuno came into being when his dad was maybe in his late 40s, early 50s. But again, as we've seen in this game, rampant alcoholism ages you. He might only be 50 and just look 60. Regardless, one has to wonder, what was the sequence of events that led to this man siring Kuno? And, more importantly, taking on responsibility for raising him, apparently alone.
You don't have to take him down. He's already down.
Yep. Kim, is this thing even alive?
I'm afraid it is. Look, it moves.
He points to a fleshy lump sticking out from the other end of the blanket. The limb seems to be twitching from time to time.
And look, the other foot is camouflaged by a striped sock bearing the name Maxtor on the sole. 3 toes are poking out of a hole. Maxtor is a gas company. He's wearing free socks from a gas company. They probably came with the bills. A groan rises from the man's throat, dry like a death rattle. He's trying to say something in his sleep.
Figure out what he's trying to say.
The man groans once again, but his tongue keeps failing him. It's impossible to make out the syllables. A hand emerges from the blankets, trying to gesticulate something. And then it dawns upon you, clear and surreal. Pigs, he says. He's trying to call you pigs.
What did you just say?
His hand falls back on the bed, limp and defeated. A loud snore escapes his mouth. He's asleep again.
At least he got to say his piece.
Sure, ACAB, I guess. Is this Kuno's father we're seeing? A valid question, honestly. Given his age, it could be his granddad.
Well, judging by the color of his hair, I would say yes, it is.
The lieutenant's right. The man's unwashed hair bears a familiar ginger tone. Even the hair on his chest is coppery. The light from the window falls into his half-open eyes.
Doesn't look like he's gonna fuck anyone up anytime soon.
No, it really doesn't. This looks very hard to recover from. This man won't be feeding his family anytime soon. Not that he was, but at least he won't be beating his son.
A pair of half-open bug eyes is staring back at you from the dark, empty, and frozen. It's clear that the person behind them is not awake.
Sorry about that. Had an incoming transmission. Hold on. What happened to his eyes?
Can't you tell? It happens to exceptionally committed substance abusers. They fall asleep with their eyelids still open. Not a pretty sight.
He's gonna sleep it off. I know this shit. Suddenly, the man starts growling. 3 words manage to escape his mouth, along with a strong stench of alcohol.
Look, he's trying to communicate.
Maybe we should help him somehow?
What is there to do? We could turn him on his side so he doesn't choke on his own vomit, but he's already on his side.
Excellent form.
We could take him to Remedy or Saint-Baptiste, but he doesn't have money for medical services. The almshouse would turn him down. They don't do charity for people who are trying to kill themselves. Besides, he'll be dead in a few.
The lieutenant stops, listening to him.
Years, months, weeks. The pile of blankets grunts miserably.
I took your amphetamine, old man.
Silence. Only heat emanates from the sleeping body.
It should be noted, there are 2 paths at the end of this game. One, we take on Kuno as our partner. He could become a junior officer in the RCM, Kuno can have a future. But in that future, Kuno abandons Kuno S, and we never find out what happens to her. I'm letting you know that because we're going in the other direction. Hopefully. Like I said, I don't want Kim to die. Now, speaking of Kim, you might think that we're about to go talk to Kuno and cash in the end of this quest. But I'm not going to. Not yet, anyway. Because giving Kuno the drugs lowers our reputation with Kim. But keeping the drugs confiscated lowers our reputation with Kuno. I'm gonna wait until after Kim has left, then give Kuno the drugs. Best of both worlds. Giving a child amphetamines after dark. Let's see, where are we? So it's 3:32 p.m. What was the time on that die? It's 8:52. Call it 9 p.m. So we need 8 hours. We need to wait until after 5 p.m. Not quite there yet. We can't do this until we get that die. We can't go see the communists until 10 p.m. Can't do any of this until we do this. Well, in theory, we could progress the actual main plot line, but there's one thing that I want to try for first. Gotta get to the right spot to be able to fast travel. Kim's found his own way around. Okay. Here. I've been avoiding this. Gonna do it now. A payphone. Someone must have worked hard to smash the plastic dome.
A metal payphone under a yellow plastic dome. You could use it to call someone, unless you're out of change.
We are not. We currently have 217 real and 85 centimes, which, to be perfectly frank, is a ludicrous amount of money for this point in the game. What can I say? Big money. Pick up the handset.
You hear the tone. The machine is inoperable.
That should be operable. Put 10 cents in and dial a random number. 005-2403-155.
Calling. Still calling. This feels wrong. Should you be doing this? End of tone. Someone picks up.
Pierre, is that you, Pierre?
The voice is female and sounds about 100 years old. Sort of similar to the voice we heard in the intercom from Tricentennial. So we could say, yes, it's me, Pierre. I might be. What's Pierre like? No, this is not Pierre. Let's just tell her the truth.
Do you have any news about Pierre?
Who is Pierre? No, I have nothing. Or, yes, Pierre is dead. No, I have nothing.
Sure you do. No one has anything nowadays.
Rude.
You're either a salesman or a statistician of some kind. I am not interested in cooperating.
I don't know who I am. But who are you?
I was a baroness.
Pause. There is silence on the other end.
You won't get me, and you won't get my money.
This could be true or it could not be true. We don't know. She's old enough that she could have been a part of the aristocracy of the suzerainty. And if she was, she has reason to be cautious. Alternately, she doesn't know us. She might be just lying to sound important. Or lying to herself. Either way, we're done.
Phone hanging up. Disconnect tone.
Put 10 cents in and dial a random number. 005 5117 912.
Calling. Still calling. Someone with a masculine voice picks up.
Hello, Gerard speaking.
Hello, Gerard. Technically speaking, you're electricity. No, what you are is a surprise. Get his wife on the phone.
So we could say, hey Gerard, get your wife for me, will you? Gerard, what a douche name. Change it. Change your name. Sorry, wrong number. But generally speaking, anytime a stat or a skill gives you something, you want to run with it. Is electricity there? I need to speak with electricity, please.
No, but I got a feeling I'll kick your ass is gonna make an appearance if you ever call this number again. Have a good one, asshole.
Phone hanging up. Disconnect tone.
Put 10 cents in and dial a random number. 005 9977 313.
Calling. 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 Still calling. Still calling.
Stop calling me, man.
Someone picks up. The voice on the other end is slightly hysterical.
I'll get you your money, alright? I just need till tonight. Let me work.
So our options are, who is this? Yes, but a slight change of plans. I want this delivered to the Whirling in Rags and Martinaise. We could all be a bit kinder to each other, don't you think? Consider your debt paid, my friend. Or, you seem to be in some sort of trouble. Maybe I can help you. I'm a police officer. So, we could be honest and say we don't know who this is. We could try and trick him into giving us his money. We could lie to him and tell him, don't worry, your debts are paid, which would probably bite him in the butt. But we're just going to go with this one. You seem to be in some sort of trouble. Maybe I can help you. I'm a police officer.
The phone gets hanged up fast as lightning. All you hear is a little shuffle of nylon as the hand moves on the other end. Disconnect tone.
A lot of people don't like to hear, I can help you. I'm a cop. Cops don't really bring good news a lot of the time. When you need one, you need one. But when you don't, you prefer not to see them, do you? A single lets you know the lieutenant is ready to move now. Tough luck, Lieutenant. We're still doing this. Put 10 cents in and dial a random number. 005 1111 313.
Calling.
I'm tired.
A man answers, fast this time. His voice is hoarse from cigarettes. You hear typing in the background.
Sounds like he hasn't talked to anyone in quite a while.
What are you tired of?
Writing. I hate writing so much. But I have to get back to it.
The man disappears with a sigh. You do not hear the customary disconnect tone, just silence in the handset. The machine is still waiting for you to dial a number. Seems like it did not have time to swallow the coin. This sometimes happens. Lucky you. The call went too fast for the payphone to register. You can still make a new one without paying.
Here we go. Dial a random number with your eyes closed. We get a bonus for white morning. Smells like betrayal. Sorry, cop.
You close your eyes and put your index finger on the rotary dial. Then pull down on the number. Then move one up and repeat the motion twice. Strange. This is not how you started before.
Wait, what did I just do?
You dialed 001. This is not the area code of Revachol. It is another destination on another Isola. Some far-off nation-state. 005 is Revachol, ZOC. 001 is Grad, on the Gradian Isola, where the telephone was invented. The next two digits you dial are the area code for the city of Mirova.
Keep dialing.
414447. The rotary dial feels cold from the sea air.
Now, this lets us know the structure of the phone numbers in this world. And it gives us a rough idea of how many there are. Let's scroll up a bit. 005 was for this Isola. 11 is presumably Revachol. 11 would again be a district in Revachol. We know Martinaise, Jamrock, Coal City, etc. And then we have a maximum of 1,000 people with phones in that district. There's probably not that many people with phones. But then we also know there are quite a lot of districts. Our police precinct covers all of Jamrock. Keep dialing.
1117361. Your fingers keep moving like a spider every time the ring rotates back with a little ring of metal, like a bell tolling.
There's more?
Yes. 451-67451. You are going deeper now, into some unknown place, far away from this island of matter and its telecommunication networks.
Finish it.
451. You have dialed God knows how many numbers. The headset has been waiting silently to relay a signal. Surely nothing can come of this, you think. But it does. A connection.
A connection that our fingers knew, but our brain doesn't.
An ultra-long distance call. Your air fills with a crackle, the wash of a strange ocean full of white noise. A little bird starts ringing in there, not like the local calling tone before. No, a small ring in a cage of distortion, far away. A distant network of phones. Calling, calling in the night, calling still. The handset starts slipping from your sweaty palm. Your breathing is heavy.
Kim?
The lieutenant is too far away to hear your yelp. The sea wind blows.
Let it call more.
Calling, 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 calling still. Then the ocean breaks. Out of the depths, a woman's voice emerges. Small. The dearest thing you've ever heard.
Hello?
She sounds sleepy. Look at our body language change. The toes pointing together, the hunched back. Hello, she hums, her voice warm from sleep.
Who is this?
Your voice is so beautiful.
No. It's you, isn't it? It's you.
Who is this?
Dora. Who is this? The connection is bad.
Dora. The name feels like a gift. A gift that was meant for you, to make it possible to live.
But it's a gift we no longer have.
In the distorted distance, you hear someone turning next to her. Bed springs rattle.
Is someone there?
No answer. You're not sure, but you think you hear a man's voice in the background. It's covered in pain and white noise.
And because we're going all in on the communism quest, I am a revolutionary servant of humanity. I will free mankind and abolish the classes. I will raise the dead.
You're not a revolutionary, Harry. You're drunk.
We only have 2, maybe 3 things left to say before the change runs out.
I'm not drunk or high. I'm just hurt. Why does it hurt to talk to you?
Oh, God.
There's silence. It's heavy as tin. The white noise howls. Hey,
Do you know what time it is? It's so late here.
sounds like she's looking for a clock on the nightstand.
It's 4 o'clock, Harry. I need to wake up in 2 hours.
Where are you going in 2 hours?
To work.
Where?
The academy, where I work.
My job is sad and terrible. It has dead bodies in it.
No response, only a sigh. The connection crackles like burning paper.
I am the law. I'm a detective. I'm doing a case. There's a hanged man.
She does not answer anymore.
I'm gonna solve it.
Harry.
Disconnect tone. The machine ran out of money.
The machine ran out of money. As it always eventually will. Put 10 cents in and dial the long phone number again.
You dial the number again. 26 pulls of the rotary dial. The machine eats the coin, and a terrifying ocean of distance rustles in your ear. In the middle of it, a familiar ring. Small, distorted, calling, calling,
Let it call.
calling, 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 calling. It looks like she doesn't want to pick it up, Harry. Stop scaring her.
Why?
Come on, you know why.
Still. Let it ring.
Calling, calling.
Harry, please.
A sad voice answers, dressed in distortion. There was someone there before. I heard someone. Who's there with you?
She does not answer. All you hear is hiss.
I need answers to my mystery.
Please. I'm going to hang up now, okay?
Phone hanging up. Disconnect tone. You dial the number again, as you've done many times. You remember it well now. 001 41 44 47 11 17 361 451 67 451 451. Calling, 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 and calling for who knows how long, but no one answers. You need to insert more money to call again.
You want my money?
The cold metal is hard and hurts your knuckles. You look at them, turning purple.
You want more money now, huh? You want fucking money?
It didn't give you any fun for that money. Your hand is turning blue now. Blood drips to the ground.
kids. Abusive relationships and obsession are bad. Just as a heads up, even if you think the relationship that you're in is healthy, if you obsess about the other person and you feel that you need them to be whole, that's not okay, because they can eventually leave you. And then, well, you need to be able to become something else. And you need to not do this. Fortunately, it's just a game. Okay. That whole rigmarole took us a bit more time than you would think. But we're still a half hour away from getting that dye from Nia. So, I guess that means actual plot time. Buckle up, everybody. We're gonna have to talk to Titus Hardie. And I'm sure we're in a good mental place for that now as well. But first, we're gonna check in with Lena. Morel's gone home, and Lena is going to tell us something very, very important. Remember what I said about basing your life on your relationship and your relationship on something? Heads up.
Hello, dear. It's good to see a familiar face.
The elderly woman smiles up at you hopefully. I restocked the empty trap. Where's Morel?
Thank you for doing that, dear.
She manages a smile for you.
Morel still isn't feeling well. I convinced him to stay at Gary's to get some rest. I'm afraid the cold has really gotten to him.
It's probably for the best. It's awfully cold out there in those reeds.
I'm sorry, dear. You've had to drudge through them so many times. Such is field work. A young person's game, as they say.
Her voice is shaky. What is going on here?
So, who's gonna check the traps?
Morel will eventually, or we'll talk Gary into going back out, perhaps.
The lieutenant stares at his shoe, caked in mud. He doesn't say anything.
Once more on to the breach, then.
That really is too much, sweetie. Thank you for your dedication, but I can see you're coming down with a cough yourself.
Very strange. Why is she not letting you do this? It's like she's given up.
Lena, what's wrong? You seem different.
Different? How?
The half moons of her glasses reflect you as she looks up at you.
Answering a question with a question, for example. Defensive isn't her usual style.
You've given up on the phasmid.
I'm in doubt, sweetie. That's all. Everyone is now and then.
You're in doubt? About what?
It's a strange feeling. I haven't really told this to anyone, but you are a police officer. Do you ever wonder if some lovely story from your childhood is just that? A story? Or a dream?
Hunching her shoulders now. She seems even smaller than she is. Like a sad young girl.
Seeing the Insulindian phasmid was just a story I used to tell people. I didn't really think about whether it was real or not.
But Morel told me you'd seen it. You also told me.
Morel's so proud of it. He always tells everyone.
Are you saying you made it up?
No, at least I don't think I did, but Morel was so eager to believe my story was evidence of the phasmid's existence that I'm some queen of the cryptozoologists. That, and for years his belief made me believe too. But now, We're both getting old, and he's still working himself sick out in those reeds looking for it. But what if I was just wrong? I think I was.
The lieutenant opens his notebook, but doesn't write anything.
We only get one shot at this, and we are not currently optimized.
But it has, hasn't it? A seed can only bear what's inside. The seed of love is black and oily. It has a taste you're quite familiar with.
Our only option is to say this. And given what we just experienced, calling, who, yes, I can confirm, was the woman who broke our heart, it's what Harry currently believes. Take it from me. Love is a lie. The sooner you accept it, the better.
You might be right, Detective.
She looks down at her legs.
I was a paraplegic before we met. He didn't know before I came in on our first date. If I weren't the queen of the cryptozoologists, if I didn't tell him that story.
She has to swallow to relax her throat. It's keeping her from talking.
He'd still be into you. That's not how these things work.
Maybe. But then why do I not dare tell him? I've wasted enough of your time with this drama. I really must stop talking about it lest I start crying and waste more of your time. What you have to know is the Insulindian phasmid probably does not exist. Let us fools chase our ghosts. There are a million better things to do with your life.
Are there? Some of the other things are pretty bad.
So our options are, to hell with this. I still believe you saw the phasmid. Thing is, you're not sure you made it up either. Okay, it's a false memory. Doesn't mean all cryptids aren't real. Chase another one. Or, you're right about all of it, and I need to get back to my work. I still believe you saw the phasmid, Lena.
A true believer. Sometimes I still see it too. The real memory of it. How it was there. Not the memory of the memory, but it's so hard to tell the two apart. Either way, I should go. Poor Morel is running a fever, and I need to get him home to Jamrock before we overstay our welcome with Gary.
Are you sure you don't need help getting to Gary's?
Oh no, thank you, but I can get there on my own. This old thing is gas-powered. And then a taxi home. It's not so bad.
You do that. I'll check the traps one more time.
Really?
Oh, sweetie. Please don't get stuck on a dream. Take it from me and Morel.
Can I have your address, just in case there's news?
Okay. It's 1113 Tabernacle Road. Jamrock, but...
Be careful out there, Lena.
You too, sweetie. Thank you for everything, truly. Even though it turned out to be a...
The sentence remains unfinished. She flicks a switch, and the engine on her chair turns on with a whir.
A waste of time. A dream. A lie. A fool's hope. Say her lips moving in silence.
Was it any of these things? We certainly haven't found any mythical giant insect. But Lena and Morel's relationship is important, isn't it? Is he just interested in her because she thought she saw a monster? Is he just interested in her because her payout from her accident is what's funding their entire lifestyle? I mean, cryptozoology doesn't pay the bills any other way, does it? We don't know. We can't live their lives for them.
Like that, she drives off. The gas engine putters quietly as she gets to the doors, then pushes them open. Outside, the cold, coastal wind blows.
We should go too.
And as you can see, that task is now considered done.
Again? I can't believe this shit.
You know what? Let's try this check. Esprit de corps. What have we got? No, that doesn't help. You'd think it would. Alright. These are the pants we got from Coon. Savoir-faire, spacious crotch, liquid fit, and +1 to physical instrument performance unlimited. Let's see. Have anything else? I mean, that just takes up the same slot. That takes up the same slot. Yeah, the only thing that gives us esprit de corps is various jackets. I love that we're wearing someone else's war metal, armored gloves, and a mesh tank top. Anyway. Hi there, partner.
Again? I can't believe this shit.
There's something that binds you to him. Some kind of an outfit, maybe. A uniform.
A firefighter's uniform? An animal control uniform? A nurse's uniform? I understand. The uniform is metaphorical. I'm actually seeing the working class, right?
I want to say yes, I think.
Level with me here for a second. Are you working class?
Fucking politics again. You know what I'm more interested in?
Me solving the case of the hanged man?
You solving the case you're on. I'm passionate about that. So maybe get to it.
Okay then, see you around. Hi, good news. I've stopped obsessing about my own sexuality.
Hi again, Gendarme.
We don't have any option for him.
Bye-bye,
That's
Gendarme.
Fine. Well, you've allowed me to uncover something about myself. And more importantly, something about Kim. We're just a few minutes shy, but I'm not gonna dodge this anymore. We're gonna talk to Titus. And to do that, we're gonna need authority. What have we got? I know that... Yeah, that brings it down. Authority. That's a minus. That's a minus. Yeah, just the boots, that's it. And you know what? Might as well wear a matching set. I mean, this says authority figure, right? Beautiful ass, too.
Looks like the circus left town, but the clowns are still here.
Titus does not look particularly happy to see you. We get a bonus to this because of the die we have. Me and Everett talked. He promised you'd cooperate.
Oh, so you went and talked to my mommy. And now she's making me play with you. Is that it, lawman?
And what's gonna happen if we don't? You're gonna go and tell on us?
Very mature, guys. Everett sent word, right?
Yeah, I heard him. The fuck do you think I'm doing here? You'd have your ass handed to you if it wasn't for the boss man's word. Let me state this very clearly, capo. Hello, officer. I'm Titus Hardie, and these are my boys, Hardie Boys. How may we assist you?
But having Everard back you up like that did seem to have some effect.
I found someone who saw the hanging. A witness.
A witness? You ain't got shit. The locals would never come to you with this.
That's just cop tactics, Titus. Next, he's gonna tell you one of us already rolled on the others, and is in witness protection.
Honestly, yeah, Elaine knows how cops work. My witness isn't a local.
Well, let's hear it then. Who is your mystery fella?
Note, I never said it was a fella.
He's not alarmed by the sudden appearance of a witness, but he is surprised. This goes without saying, but nonetheless, don't give out his name.
Let's just say he's a high-ranking government official and leave it at that.
Yeah, right. Like we wouldn't know if an MI plant was in our town. Nice try, right?
MI is short for Moral Intern. Moral Intern is short for Moralist International, the coalition that runs Revachol.
I've seen this shit a million times, Titus. Fly fishing. They are desperate. Tell us, Copper, what wacky claims did he make?
The witness said the hanging went down very quietly. No shouting. No commotion.
It's you assholes that feel the need to go around like a fucking brass band. The Hardie Boys are dead silent.
Yeah, it's like they put cowbells on you before they send you to the streets. What's with the cowbells, policeman?
They're avoiding having to answer this question.
I'd imagined you guys drinking and singing lynching songs. What's with the funeral silence?
We were drinking, weren't we, guys? I hit the bottle hard. I was drunk as fuck.
Right, I'm convinced, Glenn. Nothing off here. Just a regular hanging.
Enough about the witness.
Some witness. I pulled the same shit. Came up with some shit, then went and said it to people. Get a reaction. Don't have to go to cop school to try that.
You don't have to go to school for shit. I never went to school, and I'm doing great.
You're doing a hell of a job, man. Hell of a job.
So much bluster to hide the fact that they're uncomfortable with you having this info.
Guess what? I've connected you to the local drug trade.
Like hell you have. There is no local drug trade. This place is as clean as a rifle. Go back to Jamrock and ask the local junkies how clean your streets are in Precinct 41 kilos.
We'll do that. In the meantime, did you know that there's an abandoned lorry at the intersection that was used to move raw ingredients for drugs from Terminal B to Jamrock? The person driving it was present at the hanging. It was one of you. We've connected the footprints. Detective, do you want to deliver the coup de grâce?
The thought forms in your head like a lightning strike branching in the sky.
You're right. There is no local drug trade. Except you.
That's a mighty interesting theory. I guess that's what you would need to do, theoretically. A big, strong, state-run monopoly would outcompete the runts on the street.
Titus thinks of himself as law enforcement, and therefore thinks of himself as an arm of the state.
Yeah, man. Theoretically, that's what you would do. To get rid of the gangs, the dealers, even some of the junkies.
But not Kuno. They don't go after kids, apparently.
You would need good, trustworthy people to take their place, of course. Hardy men to run such a monopoly. For the good of the community, of course.
Yes, but that just sends everyone else to Jamrock, doesn't it?
So our options are, you've just diverted the flow to Jamrock. You've made it our problem. This is disgusting. You're admitting to profiting off poisoning your own people. Good idea. People are always going to do drugs. At least this way you have some control over it. Yeah, keep telling yourself that. I know for a fact there's still plenty of drugs out there. There's still plenty of drugs out there. In fact, I have some in my bloodstream right now. But we don't. There would be a little icon here. Let's get in his face. This is disgusting. You're admitting to profiting off poisoning your own people.
Boo fucking who? People will always be taking drugs. Might as well do it clean and organized.
Honestly, a valid argument.
Yeah, that's what the labor movement is all about. Clean and organized. And the Hardie Boys are running it.
Theoretically, of course. We're just talking politics here. My answer to your drug accusation is, how dare you? Go fuck yourself.
Not quite yet, Mr. Hardie. There were 8 sets of prints on the crime scene. There are only 7 Hardie Boys here.
The 8th Hardie, the one who's missing, she runs the thing, right?
My answer is, fuck off. Mind your own business. There is no 8th Hardie. I run this goddamn scene.
And here we go. Back to the usual.
The woman sighs.
I know! Fatty walked on all 4s. He's so fucking fat he left 2 sets of footprints.
Despite everything, the little man is quick on his feet.
Go fuck your mom, Dennis.
That's more like it, boys. You heard him. It was Angus on all 4s. Anything else you need to know?
I talked to Joyce. The merc you hanged, his friends are coming for you.
Yeah. By friends, you mean his squad mates from Crenell.
Wouldn't want to beat up his grandma.
There's snickering in the room. Some of the men put their beers down. They are forming some kind of tribunal, and they're coming for you.
This is what happens if you take the law into your own hands. Other people start doing it too.
Kim makes a valid point.
Let them come. The Hardie Boys are right fucking here.
You heard the man. Right here. We're armed. We got the whole district behind us. And Glenn. Glenn is fucking crazy.
Yeah. A well-oiled murder machine.
He punches Blondie on the shoulder. This Crenell is bad news. You know that, right?
So are the local gangs. The fucking Barmy Army. And the Madre scum. You've been out there. Seen any around?
I mean, no. The only ones we've seen were those 2 wannabe skulls who we were able to chase off with little more than some bullying.
Yeah. Where are they now, huh? Sent back to Madre in an airtight cargo crate.
They are openly admitting to killing gang members. And yet, this is the first time that we've actually directly heard of it. You will recall that when Kim gave us the briefing, he said, and now it would appear they've started executing. So which is it? Have they been killing off drug-dealing gang members? Or is this all bluster? I mean, with the non-verbal modus operandi of the skulls, they can't have been negotiating with them. If they've been killing off gang members, why doesn't the RCM already know about it? That's the problem with being vigilantes. You might have guns, you might have handcuffs, you might have your own version of the law, but the one thing you don't have is a prison. It's execution or nothing.
These people are trained military professionals. Special forces, as you said. They're not a gang or barmy army.
No, they're not. They're uncoordinated and drunk. We know more about them than you think.
The mercenaries are armed with automatic weapons.
We got weapons of our own. We got Ister 50s, Zeelagers. Glenn's got a knock cannon at home.
Will they pierce ceramic armor, like the stuff I'm wearing?
I guess we're gonna see, aren't we?
That was an unsure phrasing.
For your sake, I hope you're right.
Right about what? That a 50 caliber bullet goes through shit? Yeah, I am.
Joyce said they've gone rogue. Nobody is controlling them.
Big fucking surprise. They hire psycho scum, arm them to the teeth, and let them loose in the city. What do you think is gonna happen?
Okay.
What do you mean, okay?
So we can say, okay, they're gonna wipe you the fuck out, Titus. Okay, you got this. You got the numbers. Okay, I'll be on your side when they come. Okay, you got more gun on your side. Once I find mine. I lost it. Okay, I guess I'll be gunning you down right alongside them. Let's be real. 7 or 8 guys versus trained mercenaries with automatic weapons when these people only have single shots? Yeah, they're freaking dead. They're gonna wipe you the fuck out, Titus.
No, they won't. Get out of here with your negative energy.
All he means is that the situation is serious.
No wonder you cops get shot to shit every day. Can't go to war with an attitude like that.
And now, we have a much higher chance at this roll. But still, very much a shot at failing it, which is why I'm leaving this one for last. Establish authority.
As you look around this
Don't
room
eat it.
full of sweaty men, swearing, drinking, spitting out tobacco, does this look familiar?
Where have I seen this before?
You believe the place was called Precinct 41. It was also filled with, almost exclusively, men. Sitting on desks, talking shit and wasting time.
I get it, Titus. You guys really are the authority around here.
Huh?
You must be. You're just like real cops, drinking beer and sitting around with your dicks in your hand.
You got a problem with beer?
Not quite there yet. Push on.
No. I got drunk. So drunk I drove my car into the sea. I don't give a shit either. Just like you guys.
Speak for yourself, buddy. We've been giving a shit for 10 years. Martinaise was a dump before we put this outfit together.
They don't know, man. They weren't here. We had 3 shootings a week, kids dead, fucking graffito everywhere. You cops haven't shown up since the 30s.
Congratulations on the graffito removal. All I see is you sitting around talking about Monica's titties while there's a rape victim.
So what? What do you want from me? We took care of that fuck.
He picks the beer back up.
Don't let him drink that. One more push. Quick.
It's not about who did it. It's about the victim. She needs help.
Titus?
She stops mid-sentence. That's it. You got him. He's going to give it up, but on his terms.
You wanna help her, cop? Fine. I'm gonna let you help her, but you treat her with respect. If you don't, if you question her, harass her, a freight train of pain, buddy.
Honestly, fair. There's a reason why a lot of sexual assault victims, especially women, aren't comfortable going to the cops. Being questioned about the event, especially by men, can be, shall we say, uncomfortable.
What is her name?
The lieutenant takes out his notes.
Glacia, I'm on due. She's staying here at the Whirling in Rags, a real pretty one. Silvery jumpsuit, blonde. That's I'm on due with an O-U.
Shit. The girl upstairs? That can't be her. Remember what you said to her? You told her you want to have...
We want to have fuck with her. That's the first person we talked to in the game. You might remember that I cosplayed. Miss Aranye Disco Dancer?
Sure. Why not? You've probably seen her around.
This is low. Come on, display. We get a whole lot of minuses. Said we don't remember being a cop. We said we don't remember reality. We said I want to have fuck with you, and we said we're a superstar. Keep your cool. Bashamandu. Cool.
You inexplicably add cool after the victim's name, with your eyes bulging like some wild beast. Your fingers are fidgeting and sweat starts forming on your brow as Titus looks at you oddly.
I don't understand what's so cool here.
Nothing. We just have a few more questions. Then we'll be on our way.
It sounds like you're having a heart attack. Whatever you said, it couldn't have been that bad. Please relax. Calm. Normal. Try to forget this little hiccup.
By the way, I'm just gonna mention this as well. I don't know necessarily that this is a reference, giving her the last name Amandu, but have you ever heard John Cena's theme song? Right at the start, someone yells, Amado! A lot of people don't know what that is. They assume it's just nonsense syllables. But that's actually a sample from another song called Ante Up, and it references a real person who was shot by the police. Just saying. So, what was her relationship with the mercenary?
Relationship? There was no fucking relationship. He raped her. That's their relationship.
Was like that karaoke incident all over again. Or like some of the other girls he was harassing.
Okay, enough. All of this is irrelevant to your stated investigation.
So, what's your relationship with her?
I know her.
He looks around, and an uncommon silence fills the room.
How well do you know her?
A small twitch in the corner of Kim's mouth. He has a hunch about what knowing means.
Well enough, Copper. We party. She's been here for a few months.
He crosses his arms.
He tries to make it sound real casual, but the muscles on his neck tighten.
So she's not from around here?
You mean Revachol? Nah. Our Miss Aranye Disco Dancer is an immigrant, or a drifter of some sort. Been staying over here over the winter.
Must be nice to be a drifter and have enough money to stay in a hostel for months.
Don't you give her any more trouble. She's just had some bad luck, that's all. Shut up, Angie. She doesn't need your help.
Titus gives them both a look. They fall silent.
You said you partied. Cool, that's cool. What did you mean?
What do you think I meant?
Sex, drugs, and karaoke, right?
Yes, and no. Got something to say about it?
So you're saying the two of you were close?
No, we just fucked. That's all. I'm not gonna give you any details if that's what you're after. So put your dick away.
He's doing a good job here. A commendable performance of I don't give a shit.
So, the rape, when was that?
He did it before we killed him. He's not gonna do it again. So what does it matter?
It would help if we establish a timeline.
All right. 2 weeks, maybe? I don't know. I need another beer.
Here you go, boss.
The tall blonde throws him a can. Titus cracks it open. I think I know her.
You don't know her.
Say nothing.
Good boy.
Thank you. We'll talk.
Remember what I said. Freight train of pain.
He points his beer can at it. I didn't need it, but let's go down this dialogue path anyway. I just found a bullet in the hanged man's head.
A bullet, you say? That's mighty curious.
Indeed. Mighty. How did it get there?
The lieutenant is fixed on Titus.
Well, there are so many bullets in the world, and so many heads. I guess it's only logical. At some point, one of them bullets had to end up in one of them heads.
It's bound to happen again, you know? Just statistically speaking, of course.
Sire, it would be an event most dramatic if you were to produce the bullet and dangle it before their very eyes.
You got it, drama. I'm gonna ask you again. Why was this in the victim's head?
Wow! He's got it in a real evidence bag and all!
Why don't you go home and log it into evidence? These men have told you what happened.
I think the hanging was a cover-up for the shooting.
You know what I think? I think he was shot in the head as a kid, and his brain grew around the bullet.
Around the bullet, man. That's a good one.
All the goofing around is to avoid lying. It's a technique.
Yeah, if you're telling a joke, it's not a lie. Did you guys shoot him?
Shit! I probably did shoot him. I was drunk last night. You guys know me when I'm drunk.
Yeah, Glenn likes to shoot his guns when he's drunk. Better hope he stays sober.
No, he meant before he was hanged. Did you shoot him before you hanged him?
Before? After? During? This is getting ridiculous. They told you what happened. Stop wasting your time.
Again, not actually a lie. Just insisting that the question is irrelevant or unwelcome in some way. Don't worry. We'll figure this out sooner or later.
Never been worried in my life, lawman.
He crosses his hairy arms, having forgotten his beer for a moment. I like to think that means that he accidentally poured it on the floor.
It's not like he blew it wide open, but there's a little crack in there, somewhere.
I'm gonna take off now. So, we could go talk to Klasha, but now the time is right. Oh, actually first, we need to talk to Kim apparently. What's up, Kim?
Officer, what was that?
What was what?
You looked strange when he mentioned the assault victim's name. Do you know that woman?
Yeah.
Is there something I should know before we talk to her?
Whatever you do, don't say the first thing.
I didn't rape her. I met her in the hallway after I woke up. She knows I didn't remember being a cop. I tried to hit on her. I think this is the most relevant piece of information. She knows I didn't remember being a cop.
Okay, that's manageable.
I met her in the hallway after I woke up.
Understood. You were not in good shape on Monday.
I tried to hit on her.
Understood.
He's stone-faced. She said I'm gonna have to interrogate her later, and it's gonna suck for me.
It is. This would have been good to know before.
It didn't come up.
It should have. Anything else?
Nothing. Let's move on.
We'll be all right, Lieutenant. This is nothing.
Is it though? Nothing? You're still in for a bumpy ride here. Try not to mess it up.
Anyway, as I said, before we were interrupted by the time not being right, the time is right. I believe it's perception.
Behind the dockworkers, a ceiling-height window. The hawthorn branches scrape the glass like bony fingers.
Look out the window. We get a bonus for this because of the other set of dice.
There's a yellow ribbon tied to one of the branches. Light yellow, faded with time. A tiny splash of color in the blackness of the thicket. Hanging from it, a bronze key.
You may recall in the Mario parody art that I showed you, there was a key there, in some thorns. I'm subtle like that.
Someone hid the key in the bush and attached a yellow ribbon to make it easier to find. It's close enough to the latch up there. One can slide it open and just take it. Surely not a coincidence.
Someone's hid a key in the bush.
Huh?
The big guy looks behind him. Could you let me slide by so I can grab the thing?
I don't know about that. I'm comfortable here. Don't think any sliding would really help right now.
Sorry, fucko. Looks like you're gonna have to go bush diving. Good fucking luck with that. The Hawthorne's got a bitch of a bite.
I'm gonna enjoy the sight of you in the bushes out there.
With a loud thud, the old man stands up, pushes the window open, grabs the key from the hawthorn branch, and slides it across the table to you.
Take the key.
The key is brass. Workshop spare is etched into its bow. The old man closes the window and sits back down in silence.
Come on, man. We were just having some fun. Where's the harm in...
I'm tired of listening to your shit.
These guys have been messing with us. But Theo, he knows it's not worth getting into a conflict about, can you hand me that? Does anyone know why this key was hanging right outside the Union box window?
Didn't even know it was there. Boys. No idea.
Never even seen it. Someone must have hidden it there before this room became our place.
I wonder what doors does it open?
It could open the door in the kitchen. The blue door. It says workshop spare. Maybe there's a workshop there?
It's worth a try.
Thank you.
Don't thank me. I don't give two shits about your key.
Fair enough. Let's go do that.
You see a heavy steel door with a prominent dimple lock. It's painted blue.
We haven't been here in a while. So, just as a refresher, mysterious blue door. Dark doesn't know what's behind it. It's not the freight warehouse. Although, this is a quirk of the UI. We can sort of see through our dialogue menu what's behind it. It's the same thing that allows us to look into Kim's hotel room a little bit when we look at the bathroom mirror.
You immediately feel drawn to the color. Blue is for mystery.
And for cops. Try the workshop spare key on the door.
The key fits the dimple lock. It takes a bit of effort to turn it after all these years. But then, the lock clicks. Dust rises before you like mist. A tomb? Haunted by regal spirits from distant ages. No. Smells like engine grease and cut wood. A workshop.
Okay. Now there's a red check coming up in there. Let's see if we have anything for reaction speed. Oh, we've got a negative one right now. What's doing that? Oh, the pace. Sure. Reaction speed, anything? I believe it's reaction speed. If it's not, I'm gonna be annoyed. We'll put those on as well. Actually, no, I think we need the perception. Well, no, we've got the boots for perception, and our perception's pretty good. Anything? Can't get both for perception. You know what? Perception's more important. So, right now we have a pretty ludicrous number of skill points. So, we might as well bump up a couple of things. Let's bump our reaction speed and our perception. And what else? What else is important? Logic is good. Rhetoric is always good. Visual calculus we're gonna need, spoiler. Still got 3 left over. Let's put one more in hand-eye coordination. Ka-ching! Onward into mystery. This pinball says Franco-Nigerian. The theme is horses and swords. 5 real. A note, NB. The spare key is tied to the bush outside the corner room window. Good to know. This pinball is White Diora. The back glass shows a female figure in mourning.
Over there, in the corner.
The pinball machine?
Not just any pinball machine. This is the pinnacle of pinball. Cornelius Gordy and the Mountain Goats. It's lit. You can't wait to get your hands on it. Lit, a phrase almost synonymous with the Insulindian pinball scene. Any pinball scene, really.
Kim, are you seeing what I'm seeing?
The pinball machine. Gordy's Goats, a classic.
Oh, it's more than just a classic. A must-play. All serious pinballers have attempted a tempo run.
You've played it?
A little.
Let's take a closer look.
Oh, great.
Lieutenant sighs.
Cornelius Gordy and the Mountain Goats reads the golden lettering on top of the back box. There's a small column of text underneath. The machine is coin-operated. Get the game on, Fingerboy. Those flippers are ready.
Lean closer to read the text.
Above the painting of a mustached man climbing a hill, a column reads, inspired by the legend of Cornelius Gordy, taken on the world's tallest peak, Corpus Muindi. The Mesk legend holds that when the nation is in danger, heroic Gordy shall return and save his people.
Because we made an encyclopedia check earlier in the game, we happen to know that Corpus Mundi is twice as tall as Everest. Inspect the playing field.
The theme of the game is to explore Gordy's climb through the perspective of goats and to ascend to the top of the mountain in a time of trouble. The peak of the mountain is at the top of the playfield. All the balls have small goat icons on them and represent the goats as they race up and down the mountain.
It can be difficult to impose a narrative on a ballgame.
Areas around the playfield represent Gordy's climb, places he was said to have camped, which the goats can discover. Get them to the summit.
What's with all the goats?
Indeed. Think of them as balls.
Because they are. Insert coin.
It takes a while to get into a rhythm, but pretty soon you're able to keep 3 goat-faced balls in play with relative ease.
Double width, got a typo there.
Go, go, Fingerboy.
I feel sorry for the goats. If they only knew the kind of guy old Cornelius really was.
Wait, what kind of guy was he then?
The kind of a guy who uses the word savages a lot when recounting his travels. A masked nationalist.
A racist mountaineer?
An avid huntsman too. He was often photographed in his dining hall, surrounded by wall-mounted hunting trophies from every continent.
Not cool.
He also hit his wife and kids. Other people's kids too. Sometimes pets. Hateful little man.
There are a lot of historical figures that have the shine come off when you learn a little more about them. Christopher Columbus comes to mind.
But you seem to be having fun.
pretty good at this.
Your game is definitely improving. The jolly goats are flying all over the board, and although a few plummet to their deaths, you're never left with less than 3. Suddenly, a special passage leading to the summit slides open at the top of the board. This is where the balls need to go.
Concentrate and aim for the narrow passage.
Maneuvering a goat ball into a position for a perfect hit isn't easy. More fall to their deaths. But finally, the opportunity presents itself. One of them gets through. Tiny hammer shatters something inside the machine. Something glass. An ampoule? The words "pale rupture" light up on the speaker panel, and the machine starts filling with a thick, milky fog. Something's happening.
Congratulations. This is where the game ends. It's a cheap way of getting more money out of the players. A stupid, nihilistic finale.
There's so much fog, you can barely see anything. Some is actually leaking out of the machine, and one by one, your goats start slipping, disappearing into the milky nothingness. This can be navigated. The balls leave almost imperceptible disruptions in the fog. Use them to calculate where they hit next. You're down to your last goat, going mostly by sound. Eyes are useless at this point, but that goat is something special. 5 times you snatch him back from the jaws of death. You're in a perfectly balanced system where neither you nor the pal is able to get the upper hand. This could go on forever.
So we could say, Kim, it can be done. Just watch. Or, just do it. I believe this ratchets our chances down. We get a bonus, because although we didn't follow through on it, we did get the nationalist thought, but a negative because we're bad at ball games, because we threw the boule into the sea. 72% chance is pretty good, but not guaranteed.
With automation-like precision, you keep the final goat ball in play, reacting to the tiniest stimuli, floating in the flow state. The fog is clearing, and suddenly, the old speaker crackles. Hardie Ball is lit.
Huh?
A panel opens up at the top of the playfield, and a new ball charges downhill. It's larger than the goats and matte black. Cornelius spell the white letters running across the equator. So violent is its descent, it immediately knocks the last goat into the abyss. Then proceeds to bounce all across the board as if carried by some demonic otherworldly inertia. High score, announce the speakers, and the whole machine lights up. Then the flippers retract, leaving a perfect opening for the Hardie Ball to join the goats backstage. Cornelius vanishes, and the machine powers off.
That's amazing.
The lieutenant mumbles. He sounds a little out of breath. I think I won, Kim.
You didn't just win. No one I know has ever beaten Hardie's goats. That is a monumental achievement, Detective.
Who's the king of pinball, Kim? Hold out your fist.
Congratulations, Your Highness. That was really impressive. The machine needs a good service before anyone else can even attempt it again.
It's time to move on.
Yes. Good times.
Once again, the machine becomes one with the dust and the darkness. Life has left it, unlikely to ever return. All these mesmerizing machines, just waiting to be plugged back in and played.
Run your finger across the dust of the white Diora machine.
Feels like it might jump back to life any moment, the lights illuminating the white-robed woman.
What's white Diora?
Some kind of inane pinball theme, probably related to Messina during the DeLorean age. The history themes are the worst.
Diora was one of the 3 crown cities of the DeLorean era, on the Muindi Isola, the others being Ria Silvia, Vesperasket. This theme is all about early airships and beautiful, sad, pearl-laden women. It's quite nice, actually.
How about we fire one of these bad boys up and play some ball?
You can't fire them up. They are broken. Only that one machine in the main hall works. The Royalist pinball.
Kim Kitsuragi. Kim Kitsuragi. Man, I hope we get this one. A little more Kim lore.
Kim Pinball Kitsuragi.
Kim Pinball Kitsuragi, aka Kimball?
Exactly. That's what he's known as. His reputation precedes him.
You're Kim Pinball Kitsuragi.
So now he remembers.
He looks at you in the silence of the workshop, then takes his glasses off and cleans them.
Fine, I'm Kim Pinball Kitsuragi, aka the Kimball. You remembered. Congratulations.
But I still can't remember anything else.
Wonderful. He only remembers hearing about the pinball policeman.
You don't seem to really like pinball.
No human being should. It is a game that requires no skill and a childlike affinity to flashing lights and to fantastique, science fiction, and historic romance franchise. It is lame.
Then why are you called Pinball?
I am not called Pinball. It was used to taunt me a long time ago, before I became a homicide detective and got my lieutenancy.
How did you...
Fine. I was a juvenile police officer for over 15 years. It's how I started out in the RCM. Once I had to infiltrate a pinball ring, as you do when you're a juvie cop.
Kim was straight up 21 Jump Streeted. Also, note, he was a juvenile police officer for 15 years. You may recall, a long while back, Measurehead referred to Kim as pedomorphic. He looks young for his age. Or at any rate, he did. A 25-year-old might be able to pass for 20 or even 16, but a 43-year-old? Less so. Okay.
It was not okay. I needed to become a pinball champion. I trained for 9 months. The job was successful and I was moved out of the juvenile wing to homicide. End of story.
You were a juvie cop for 15 years?
That time is over now. I was already a 38-year-old man. It was unbecoming, as was playing pinball.
Wait, so that's why you didn't talk to Kuno?
It's best if you handle the juvenile delinquents.
He nods. You're Lieutenant Kitsuragi to me.
Not only to you, I am Lieutenant Kitsuragi to everyone. Now, we really need to continue our sweep of what appears to be a secret path through the whirling.
I'm not certain what a pinball ring is exactly, but there are a lot of criminal enterprises and criminal gangs that are associated with things that are not themselves illegal. Maybe they were gambling on the pinball. Maybe they were running pinball arcades and dodging regulations or not paying their taxes. Not that there are many of those in Revachol. Imagine training to play a game you hate for 9 months to become really good at it, all so that you could quit your job and go investigate dead bodies instead. Kim had a rough time. Anyway, let's check this out.
This small elevator is dimly lit by a bulb that's been glowing for ages. The latticed cage is open, inviting you to step inside.
Look in.
Smells of nougat and sweat. Your head brushes up against the ceiling. There is a control panel to your right, and just enough room for 2 people to fit in. The maintenance card under the control panel reads, Last maintenance, 10th July, 88.
The current year is 51, just so you remember. Look at the elevator controls.
There are large rectangular buttons. Monter, descend, and an international call for emergency assistance. That third one appears to be broken. A small steel plaque reads Halter 800. Halter is a Koningsteiner lift company who went out of business a long time ago.
Says the last maintenance was in 88.
That it does. I say, let's brave it.
This elevator was last maintained in the future?
No, it was maintained in 88 of the previous century.
So it's not a message from the future.
No, I think the bureaucrats just forgot about this backroom elevator after the revolution.
I wonder what this elevator was used for.
Seems like a small freight elevator for transporting machinery. For that, it's pretty quaint.
He taps on the guttering light bulb. It's golden in the dark. Close the doors and go up. Well, we survived. Get some smokes and $2.50. Small windows, taped shut with black plastic. You can't see outside. Boxes of tools and replacement parts line the shelves. Schematics for a pinball machine, futurism themed. Bonus to empathy, bonus to hand-eye coordination. Pinball maker's coat. Let's take a look. +1 to empathy. M knife locks blues. +1 to hand-eye coordination. This dusty old coat used to belong to someone called M. Knife Locks. The name is stitched onto the silk lining. It smells of moths and ancient engine grease, but fits you perfectly. A strange, lonely emotion fills you when you tighten the belt around your waist. These cigarettes smell unusually sweet. Each one is adorned with the silhouette of a boy in a cylindrical cap. Brands of cigarettes are an important thing to note as a detective. These smokes have been here for over 50 years. They are old cigarettes. Or at any rate, they should be old, because no one should have been up here for 50 years. You will also note they're the same brand that we found up in Land's End, all the way north with the antenna. That might be significant. The pinball machine has been taken apart and gutted.
So this is where they brought 40 pinball machines to fix them up, a long time ago. Everything is covered with dust now. The lieutenant looks around the dusty, crowded room, inspecting the tools on the shelf.
Looks like they gave up on fixing the pinball machines at some point.
At some point, 20 years ago, 15 maybe, before pinball went out of vogue.
This used to be a pinball workshop?
Looks like it. I'm guessing Martinaise North 22 used to be a pinball arcade before it became a hostel. There are machines left over.
He taps his foot.
A creak. Some dust falls off a shelf.
Downstairs in the hall, next to the main door. One of them even works. I've seen one of the Hardies bang away at it.
Remember the dice maker? Then that means...
Whirling in Rags was once the East Delta Pinball Arcade. This is all left over from that.
Ah, yes, as the novelty dice maker said. This has absolutely nothing to do with the case, I'm sure. But I do like a nice little connection.
But then it went bankrupt. Your skin crawls from making the connection.
Could this mean the Whirling in Rags really is part of the doomed commercial area?
If that's true, then our cafeteria manager is not going to like it. We should tell him what we found up here, omitting that suspicion. He does not appear to be the kind of man who likes his establishment to be part of a neighborhood ghost story about bankruptcy.
Stupid superstition. But still, it would be interesting to see what the cafeteria manager thinks of this. It's not a ghost story. It's a curse, and Gart ought to be made knowledgeable so he can perform counterspells. clearly see footprints in the downy carpet of dust covering the workshop floor.
Jackpot. These, unlike everything else here, are new.
Someone's been here within the last week or two.
3 weeks maximum from the dust coverage. It could easily have been 1 week too. You know, officer, it was a stereo investigation after all. It has now converged with our main investigation, adding a new fact to consider.
Okay, what does this mean?
It means someone snuck through what seems like a secret route, behind our rape victim's room, in the recent weeks. This may prove to be significant.
Let's have a closer look then.
Large prints, most likely made by boots. The size is hard to determine. Sole could be bigger than vamp. The soles have left a pattern, uniform, horizontal lines.
Vamp is the bit that goes over the foot.
One person has been here. They've gone back and forth. The tips point both ways. This print is unlike one left by a regular worker boot. It is not a brand sole with logos on it. It seems custom-made or old-fashioned. Shoe size is 41 to 42, maybe 43. It could be a large-footed woman or a small to average-footed man. This is, unfortunately, the worst, most vague shoe size there is.
The prints look like one person went back and forth.
Between that and that.
He points to the elevator doors in the corner, and he points to the barred door. Barred doors here. This print doesn't look like the odd-soled print we found at the hanging, Kim.
The size looks about the same, actually. They're not the same shoe, but they could be the same person.
This doesn't look like the workers' boots from the hanging, does it?
No. These little horizontal lines are different. They look custom-made to me. Or some kind of foreign print. Hard to say. Still a boot, though.
Okay.
Everything around you is quiet. The prints crisscross the workshop floor.
Let's move on. Fortunately, much like the prints in the yard, we don't have to worry about messing them up by walking over them. There's a tiny hole in the wall. You see a bedroom on the other side.
The door is small but heavy-looking. It's barred from the inside.
What's on the other side?
Unless we've veered off into a folded M dimension, I'm expecting to step out on the roof. We could ask Class here about this route. See how she reacts?
Folded M dimension. A reference to the popular science fiction series, In System. Look who's in a good mood suddenly and reads science fiction.
Unbar the door. The smell of cigarette smoke in the air. Astra menthol. That's what Clash smokes. And fortunately, we're already geared up for reaction speed. Look, a handful of dried white wildflowers.
Just as you look at the flowers, a gust of wind raises them from the roof, picking them up in the air.
Move your hand. Fast!
You catch a single white flower between your fingers. The rest fly off into the wind. It's a Maybell.
Oh, my mistake. It wasn't reaction speed. It was hand-eye coordination. Nevertheless, nailed it.
The young woman looks at the Maybell in your hand. Just a glance, then takes a drag of her cigarette. The lieutenant gives you an acknowledging little nod.
Snap your finger pistols at it.
Your 9mm semi-automatic finger pistols produce a satisfying snap. Strange for such a low-caliber finger gun to sound so chunky. The flower in your other hand is impressed. So is Kim. That's not entirely true. The lieutenant is looking at the door to the east and mostly misses them.
Cold coffee and an ashtray that looks like a hedgehog. We're not gonna talk to Klasha because, quite frankly, we're coming up on the end of the stream and this is a lot plot-wise. But I do want to point something out before we go. A visual calculus check that the game doesn't let us make. From her vantage point here, see, I've got an image prepared. Line of sight and who is looking at what is very important in Disco Elysium. Notice, from where she's standing, she can see to where we were when we partied at Renee's vacant guard booth, where my assumption was we fell into the water tower. And you might think she wouldn't have noticed, but the game made sure to put several packs of cigarettes there. She would definitely have seen our lighter lighting each one in the darkness. And also, let me grab the other one here. From this elevation, she had a perfect view to what we know was very loud and very chaotic as we backed our police car into the fence, drove it into the crater, ramped off of the crater to the roof of Roy's pawn shop, and then eventually left our car in the ice. As a matter of fact, she's been able to see our car in the ice for days. Even before we staggered out of our hotel room and told her that we wanted to have fuck with her, Klasha knew exactly how fucked up Harry Dubois is. She had a front row seat. Before we talk to her as well, let's just have a quick look in her room. Kind of weird behavior, but I'm sure she won't mind. The bed has been hastily made.
This window is pristine on the inside, unlike the one next to it. Light from the desk lamp reflects off the glass in an untarnished golden halo.
Run your finger across the surface of the glass.
Smooth as ice. There are spots of mud and rain on the outside, even smudges. But the surface of the window is clear from the inside. No chips, no hairline fractures. Following your lead, the lieutenant leans in closer to inspect the surface.
This window was recently replaced.
Looks like it, yes.
You may recall, at the very first session, I mentioned that it was significant that we broke our window directly downstairs from this with our shoe. And when we went outside, we found the second set of a matching pair. Our conceptualization said, like 2 baby crocodiles. A window was broken, and 2 matching baby crocodiles, carnivores, and yet, in a certain sense, innocent, were separated. We were able to reunite our shoes, but we will not be able to reunite the pair that were separated when this window broke. But that's enough cryptic bullshit for one stream. Once again, I'd like to thank you all for joining me. We might talk with Klasha tomorrow, or we might get the dice and open the ice cream maker, or we could confront the pigs and get our gun back. Or we could go see the communists and join up with our revolutionary brethren. Honestly, I'm on the fence. But we're going to do that a week from now. Thank you all for joining me, and have yourselves a very pleasant evening.